It's exciting one was kind of hype in iTunes. I'm like, oh, cool.
Somebody asked me if our new show frequency, or infrequency, I should say, is trying to mirror that of the independent comic publishing schedule. That's exactly right. Whenever there's a new issue of Crickets, we'll have a new show. So. Every year.
Any questions for you guys?
10 minutes, maybe we should see if
Yeah.
anybody wants to discuss anything.
Anybody, any particular?
Can I get a raise?
No.
100%, right?
You can use that to buy the pants can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When do we get the new pants button? I'm kidding.
He's a creative guy.
Find a designer.
Make one. It's a mount. Mine's print money.
Get
that thing off me.
Real questions?
Are y'all awake out there?
Creators that have just totally want nothing to do with podcasting, you try to get an interview and they just dismiss you summarily, or
Sure.
Yeah.
Steve Ditko? Sure.
Years ago, it was probably premature because it was within the first year and we hadn't really established ourselves yet. But I had contacted Barry Windsor Smith and I said, hey, I love you. I'd love to do an interview. And he actually emailed me back and he said, yeah, I don't have anything to promote right now. So, try again when I have something new coming out.
Yeah.
Well, how about you promote your entire career?
Yeah.
I mean, you have a huge body of work that people love, and maybe there are new kids who don't know who you are and will now run out and buy
Yeah, I
a
was gonna really
book.
want to do that.
That's kind of sucks. Like, why
Yeah,
not?
It happened with Jonah Vasquez, who we love. We wanted to talk about everything he did. He's like, man, we're not coming out with something new. And then who I adore, they're great, and I understand why. But like Luna Brothers, they're just like, we don't want to do audio ones, but we'll do written ones. But we just don't feel like we want to do it. And I totally respect that. They were fine with it. I was fine with that. But there have been on occasion. It actually happened here one year. I went up to a pretty big creator. Just sort of taken aback because it was really simple. It wasn't mean. It wasn't rude. I was like, oh, I really love your work, and I really love to have you, do this podcast. And I even had a couple of ins. He, had some mutual friends. Oh, my friend says hi, whatever. And I was like, I'd love to get you on the show. And he just went, no. Simple as that. And I was just like, no explanation, nothing. Okay, I guess I'll switch by your book. It's like, just no. So yeah, it's frustrating, but if they don't want to talk, they don't want to talk.
But that's normally fairly rare. I mean,
it's
most of them are pretty open to it, and I'm like, you tell them who you are, what you want to do, you want to promote them on a podcast, and they're like, sure. But yeah, I mean, you do get the occasional.
You get people like Hickman and those guys who recognized it right away. And this report who tells us all the time, because you guys, he's so great. He tells us all that you guys are important to the industry. Because that's why we do it. I think Fraction does Lego and those guys. They'll come out and do it, because they're open to it. They know that there is a certain listenership that it might get readers, might get interested in what else they're working on. But yeah, it's nice to have those guys on our side.
I found the indie creators, particularly are hungry.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes.
And really eager for promotion.
I ran across an indie creator. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, some people always have their
convention.
little idiosyncrasies, but most are quite willing to get any kind of word out that they can. So.
The only no I've ever
And
gotten
just
was
talk comics and have some fun, because our show is pretty light and fluffy and silly, and so they can just goof around, and they know they'll just have a good time while they're on there. So.
only no I've ever gotten is somebody who was absolutely petrified of the microphone.
And that's
Really
fair
just
too.
froze and said, I can't. And that was it. And that was cool.
Are you going to answer a question, Bruce?
Well, yeah. When you mentioned Hickman and Fraction, I've wondered. 5 years ago, I'd never heard of the guys,
Yeah.
and
We made them, yeah.
and so well, no, that is my question. Do you think they would be working for Marvel and doing the big books if it hadn't been for podcasting? Because at least it's my impression that I heard about them through podcasting, through all the interviews that they did, and through CGS and everybody just promoting the heck out of them. Then all of a sudden, their stars start shining brighter inside.
I think those two are examples of guys who were going to
They're
rise
just talented, yeah.
regardless because they're talented. I mean, they're really, really talented. But I think that it probably helped. The boost, they probably got a shot in the vein from that early round of interviews that they did with all the shows and that jumped awareness, they skipped the first couple steps,
Mhm.
and then they took the natural course of things
I
because
think
they're
we're
shooting
definitely,
stars anyway.
definitely part of that nightly news, like, because it got so much buzz, and we were part of
You
putting
bet.
that buzz out that we all loved
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
And we
Yep.
put that, and all of a sudden that book got just so much buzz. Like, where did it come from? No one, what is this nightly news thing? You know, and we all fell in love with it, talked about it, had them on the show, and I think we definitely. I don't think we certainly didn't make them, but we certainly. Like you said, gave a little.
Yeah, it can't do anything but help unless the creator comes off like a total
Yeah.
jerk. And even then, I mean, that can still cause enough buzz. Like, you hear that interview where this guy was such a jerk, and people check it out. So, all press is good press.
And that's what I love about when we do these interviews with people. You know, like the big name now, even in Fracture, I said big now. They don't have to come on, but they will.